Mark Allen, glad you asked, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, in the spirit and legacy of the original Black Wall Street of Tulsa. And we're here with the Mark Allen Show, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Some call it every day. Whatever you call it, we're here. 1 o'clock p.m. until 2 o'clock p.m. right here on the UBM Radio Network. Now listen, you're getting us all the time as we're streaming live all the time on urbanbroadcastmedia.com. But I want to thank all of you and want to encourage more of you. Please join the new campaign. When this program is over, what campaign is that, Mark? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. Listen, what we want you to do when the program is over, we want those of you who have not done it already, right? Some of you are tuning in on SoundCloud, some of you tuning in other places, some of you are tuning on my Facebook Live page. But listen, we want all of you all to begin to make the switch. We want all of you all to be tuned in to our own page. Other people benefit from tuning us in on their social media sites. We need you to help us build our own self-sustained page. And what does that mean, Mark? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. We need you to go to our social media site and join UBM Radio. And more importantly than that, we want you who like to see and hear. Y'all reality show people, you want to see and hear everything. You don't want to miss nothing. Well, I tell you what, we got something for you. Because I see all of y'all out there, y'all never miss the reality show. You miss meetings because you're too busy watching Power and Empire, and you miss the bankers meeting. You don't know what's going on. Listen, we want you all to be able to catch in on all of this because there is so much going on, people of God. And there is so much for us to do as we change the narrative and as we change the directive to the point that we are the leaders we've been looking for. I didn't say Sharpton, I didn't say Jesse, I didn't say Farrakhan, I say we. Notwithstanding what they do, I'm telling you what, we are the leaders we've been looking for right here. And we want you to join in all the time. So tune in and log in to our UBM radio page on social media. But more importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube page because we're broadcasting live all the time. Not just with the Mark Allen Show and my voice, but dozens and dozens and dozens of other voices who make up what a lot of us are on social media asking about. We keep asking, where are the solutions? Well, I'm telling you, the solutions are right here. And when you say, God, step in, Jesus, take the wheel, well, they've given us our Almighty God, Father, and through His Son, Jesus, have given us, the people of God, to become our own modern-day Ezekiels, for us to breathe life into our valley of dry bones, right? All the time, until we start seeing all of the bones connecting together. And we're doing that right here at UBM. There's a lot to talk about. There's so much going on in the news that I've seen, and I want to tell you about everything that is happening. Well, let me dedicate my broadcast today to a longtime elder. I think he's 75 years old, 76, young. Today, my elder brother, Harold Lucas, down in Bronzeville, thank you so much for all that you have helped teach us and so many of us and continuing. And so now, here we are. The headlines of our day, number one, we're going to talk about the results of the private meeting that myself, Otis Monroe, and a delegation of others, we went to a private meeting with all the senior officials who are in charge at J.P. Morgan Chase of the new $40 million development fund that they have committed over the next 3 years. They're going to spend $40 million over 3 years specifically for community development projects on the south and west sides of Chicago. I was glad to be one of those in that meeting. And we want to talk about the results of some of the things that are bearing fruit already of the seeds that were planted when our Community Reinvestment Coalition, under the leadership of Otis Monroe again, and Philip Jackson, who were able to sit us down with the new sister, born in Bronzeville, lives in South Shore now, Angelique Power. Not Angelique Power, what's her name? Angelique Power, who's now the new president and CEO of the Field Foundation. They're managing over $60 million in assets. They're going to be putting over $6 to $7 million in community development projects on the south and west sides of Chicago next year. We want to talk about one of those situations that are coming up and one of the things we were talking about. All the time we keep talking about the narrative that our current and new leadership are using to define what's going on, not just to us, but to their constituencies, that we don't hear all the time. We complain all the time that on mainstream media, all we see and hear is the negative news and the bad news and the darkness of our day. Well, grace be to God, we've got UBM, who can be here in the community talking about what's good in the community. And we're going to talk about the surprise meeting that we had. We had our regular Community Banking Coalition meeting. We were talking about some other banking issues, but as fate would have it, sometimes things happen not on purpose, but on accident. But as the Spirit would have it, right in the middle of our Community Banking Coalition meeting, here comes the Chief Policy Officer, the Chief Public Liaison for Governor Bruce Rauner, who was in the neighborhood, who said, since I'm down on 47th Street, let me just see who's at Black Wall Street, because the governor needs to come back to Black Wall Street. He was there when he ran for governor. But the interesting thing that happened, the whole agenda of the meeting changed. And I guess we need to discuss, now that the governor is running for re-election, the whole Community Banking Coalition meeting shifted the minute I said, here's my friend who working for the governor, but everybody wanted to know now, when the governor comes back to the black community, tell him to explain to us whatever happened to the $1 million that went to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. That time when then candidate runner came to National Black Wall Street, Chicago, and he was answering our 10-point agenda, and we were just talking. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting challenged on, just in case you ain't governor, what can you do with the money that you as a rich white man spend in the black community every day? And the question finally came, Tim, the governor said, well, I got millions. Well, why don't you take $1 million right now in good faith? And the challenge ended up with candidate runner putting $1 million, including a $200,000 no questions asked grant to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. And I got tired of answering questions, and I let it alone until yesterday, because the whole meeting just erupted when Vince showed up on behalf of the governor. And so I guess as you look at a re-election campaign and everybody else is calling you into account, then I guess it's a good time now to call into public accountability. Governor, what happened to the $1 million that you put in the Southside Community Federal Credit Union outside of the $200,000 grant, right? And the other $800,000, did any of the money ever go as it was designed that we talked about on our 10-point agenda? How much of the $800,000, 3 years later now, going to re-election, how much of that $800,000 can you now report actually went to the micro lending fund that it was designed to create those $5,000 to $50,000 small business grants for black businesses? Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's a lot going on, and you can talk about it right here, unrestricted. Can't nobody shut us off, right? I'm Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago. You're in tune to the Mark Allen Show. Hear my voice, and hearing my voice right now, 5 days a week, including today, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m., and we'll be right back, hear my voice some more, right here on the UBM Radio Network. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And everybody, listen. Keep responding to all your people who keep sharing, and I'm glad y'all sharing, and we're glad people are watching. But please go back and thank them for accepting your request to watch, right? Please do that. We're going to keep catching up. Steve Jeswan, I see you. Bernie Morrell, I see you. Jay Wayne, my brother, I see you. Edwin Willinger, I see you. All right, good. Here I go. That's the commercial music that's playing over there. Right. Oh, let me check the news wire. Give me a minute. Be right back. Check the news wire. Noob, I see you. Yo. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, here y'all. Yeah, come on. Let's do it. Yeah. We got the rest of these top 10 issues. All right. Yes. See you. We got it. These issues going on. Come on. I see you. Yes, hallelujah. Yes, I see you. Am I back on? Radio. Come on. Yeah, UBM Radio, and we're here right now. Where you at? I'm glad you asked. This is veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, and we're here right now, every day on the day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, right? 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. on the Mark Allen Show. Hear my voice, and you're hearing my voice right now. We're streaming live all the time at urbanbroadcastmedia.com. urbanbroadcastmedia.com. But listen, friends, here is the big deal we're doing right now. And we thank you. Hundreds of you are doing it, and we need you to do it by hundreds more. We want all of you to join our social media page, which is UBM Radio. But more important than that, those of you, we want you to be able to tune in, check in, come back for reruns like y'all do these other shows y'all be watching. Well, here's the real deal right here, right? Here's the real deal on community-based power. Here's the real deal on community-based empire building, right? So follow that same script. Like you tune in and check in, listen, get our social media page, UBM Radio, and then really, right? Get our YouTube page, our YouTube video page, so you can see and hear it all, right? All the time on our UBM Radio network. Not just the Mark Allen Show, hear my voice, but you can hear all the other voices that are going on in our community. Now listen, we were talking about the top issues of our day that are going on right now that we want to report on. And we want to tell you more about the private meeting that we went to with the officials of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and listen to them and dialogue with them on how they are going to strategically place the $40 million that they have committed to community development on the south and west sides. That's a big deal. Then we're going to talk about a lot of our civic education projects that are going on. But I guess the hot button issue came out of at our Community Banking Coalition meeting that we had at National Black Wall Street on yesterday. We were talking about other issues about the $20 million they got invested in Illinois Service Federal and some other issues. But as fate would have it, a friend of mine and longtime ally of mine who happens now to be a key assistant to the governor came by the office because he was in the community and to talk about that National Black Wall Street Chicago should be on the strategic sites that Governor Rauner, running for re-election, should want to come and say what he's been doing on the black agenda. But lo and behold, the whole meeting, Steve, just took off because everybody shifted from the agenda and wanted to hit my guy Vince from the governor's office. Well, now that you're here, I'm glad you're here. What happened? So before the governor comes back talking about this issue, can the governor explain what happened to the $1 million that the governor put into the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. And I'm almost glad after all this time, it took a load off you, because for 3 years, me and Bob Israel and Otis Monroe, allegedly, into the community, we got the $1 million. We've been spending it. I got creditors don't want to pay me and give me my money back when you got that $1 million from the governor. I'm like, when? So I'm almost glad that they kind of raised the issue, but without no personal issues aside, the issue still becomes as a matter of accountability. 3 years ago, Governor Ronner put over $1 million into the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, and we helped negotiate not just $1 million, but a $200,000 unrestricted grant to go to the capacity building of the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, and 3 years later, nobody knows where the money went. If you go to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, it was the press releases, the press photos, ain't been no public accounting, ain't been no more. It's almost like the money never happened. The issue never happened. And so those of us who mean accountability, we need to ask, what the hell happened? So we need to know what's going on. You got Pritzker just put $1 million in Inland Service Federal. We can follow the same procedure that they had. And so I'm just saying, and it takes a breath of fresh air off of me. You know, one, we can finally get the governor to respond. So you can finally tell people, Governor, Mark Allen and National Black Wall Street Chicago didn't get a dime of the money. And then maybe Greg Brown and others can explain, from the $200,000 that you got in unrestricted dollars, somebody else might have got money to do outreach, to bring in churches and development and to build the credit union, but it wasn't National Black Wall Street. It wasn't the Monroe Foundation. And so it's a fair time to ask, what happened to the money? And we just learned from it. Did the money go? So in 3 years, where has the money went? Is it still sitting in some fund, collecting interest? I mean, what is it doing? And so we need to be able to ask. And so I'm glad that the governor's guy came out of office, and I'm glad the governor has on his agenda that he wants to come back to National Black Wall Street Chicago and address his points on the black agenda. I'm glad that Pritzker came by and addressed the black agenda. Still ain't heard from Kennedy, still ain't heard from all these other candidates running, but we're making progress, right, on these kind of questions. And so the question becomes, I don't know, right? Never got no answer from Greg Brown. I don't know what the board members did. All I know is they got, and people just assumed, well, Mark, if you and Otis lobbied for $200,000 unrestricted dollars that they ain't got to report to nobody, how did you know they didn't get none? Well, I can't explain it. I don't know. All I know is Greg Brown said to the world, we didn't lobby for this money. We glad we got it. And I mean, damn, you didn't lobby for the money, but you're glad you got it? And the two brothers who made it happen can't get $5? And board members can come and write you right out of history? Well, whatever. So let the question be asked, and we will move on. Ain't gonna stress me, I'm just raising the issue. Because we still gotta raise the 10 points of where these dollars are going in terms of the governor's race. And we're gonna talk about that. And I got 3 more things that are real hot going on right now. This is veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, in the spirit and legacy of the original Black Wall Street of Tulsa. And we're here right now, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. right here. And we'll be back in my voice more on the UBM Radio Network.
The Chicago Original is on its way back. It's the return of Leon's Barbecue, 63rd and Harper in Chicago. The tradition that started in 1940 brings its saucy soul back November 22nd, just in time for Thanksgiving. And the whole tasty menu is back. Ribs, hot links, ribs, wings, you name it, it's all back. If it's good enough for Westwood and we've been to Washington to talk about it, it's good enough to eat. Leon's Barbecue, November 22nd.
New breed of leadership, I see.
63rd Street, Leon's Barbecue, except no
Let me talk about that too. I'm glad you hit me.
Join the Metropolitan Apostolic Community Church
Old and new breed.
as we honor the 2017 Peace Planners at the Net Jubilee.
And then I saw Carl West. He had a, let's do a Carl. Maybe I get him on something about Carl West got article talking about how old heads are blocking new leaders. And we need to examine this. I want to get a round table. Old heads are blocking new leaders from doing what? I really need to know what that means. And Darren and some others, let's think about it so we can have an educated conversation. I need to know, right? And I can feel some of the tension. I saw some leaders in the community who didn't have a damn thing to do with fighting for the $20 million they got to Illinois Service Federal. But I know that the young leaders, but I can complain because I was one of the quote-unquote young leaders that fought for the right. We fought for the right, for the money to go. So I have every right to say because my works, I ain't hustling you, right? You ain't got to give me nothing. We help fight for the right, for that money to come. But I want to know what other young leaders are talking about. What are elder leaders blocking you from doing? When I see all of the issues that are going on, that I need to know what we be blocking. I'm waving. I'm back. Okay, we're back. I'm doing everything now. We got everything going on now. And we're glad about the growth of everything that's going on right here at the UBM Radio Network. This is Mark Allen, veteran activist and chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, in the spirit and legacy of the original Black Wall Street of Tulsa. And we're here with the Mark Allen Show, hearing my voice. And you're hearing my voice 5 days a week, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. right here on the UBM Radio Network. And we need all of you friends to keep joining the campaign to build up our own Black-owned and operated independent core base of our media station here, right? And we're here, 4 floors. We got recording studios. We've got social media studios. We've got radio, TV, all of it right here in the heart of Bronzeville, right? It ain't got to get nobody's permission, right? To broadcast to these generations. And so that's what's going on right now. And we need you all to join in and help us. And so I want to dedicate my broadcast again to a longtime friend who we just lost his fight. We called him the Wizard of Oz. I'm going to put more of that on my social media page and all of that. But, you know, as a former lounge owner and party promoter, oh Lord, the Wizard of Oz was a legendary stepper, walker, all of that in the Black community. And so we want to lift up his legacy, right? And to him. So now, let's continue to talk about these issues because we just need to ask and move forward. So we talked about the $40 million at JP Morgan Chase. And we got a strategic planning piece coming up from National Black Wall Street along with Otis Monroe and the Monroe Foundation. And we're working with the Field Foundation and others that I told you once before. See, you know, when I talk about legacy building and all that, one thing I learned from elders, if you don't like what you see, out-organize me then. You want to prove what you got? Then out-organize me then. Well, and I took that to heart. And so instead of me chasing around other people who are doing youth leadership organizing and the narrative of a current and new generation of Black and brown organizers, so you get tired. I'm not chasing you. We're going to go and build our own. And so that's why the collaboration between National Black Wall Street Chicago, led by the Monroe Foundation, instead of chasing you, we went and lobbied people to get funded on our own, that we can run on our own right here at UBM. Now, we might meet up later, but that's what leadership is. If you want to take the lead, then take it. And then come back and show where your leadership stood. Even if that means you run into conflict with some elders, it'll all come back in due time. But in the meantime, and I know it will, we'll all end up in operational unity. But there comes some time when Otis Monroe, myself, and others had to go, and with UBM and Dr. Finney, go set up, quit chasing everybody else, go set up your own urban media outlet. Then go set up your own outlet. Ain't got to keep chasing nobody. Then we can do it on our own, which we're going to be doing, and you're going to be hearing more about. Then the civic education meetings. It's a hell of a thing to be downtown and to see millions of dollars being allocated for civic education. And then, and all the people that say we need civic education, but you're too damn busy to show up at the meeting. So I don't know what you're doing, but it's ass backwards. The people who don't show up, who ain't got time to do nothing, you post, shake my head, all of that. But when the decisions are made, $6-7 million, and I know I got too much on me, and I don't want to take too much on, but I'm just saying, if all this was going on, and if everybody else was so busy being underfunded, how is it that you're too busy doing whatever you're doing and you can't be in the room when $6 million are being funded for what you said our community needs? Then another $100 million over here. And the very people who ain't never got time to show up, then when those get the money, then here you come later with your shaking my head post, talking about the usual suspects. Well, you damn right. And we got to get to that point where if you're going to lead, then lead then. And so we took the leadership. Ain't got to ask for permission. Organized our own community media outlet to help educate a current and new generation of those who want to shape the narrative on news that don't get reported. All we do is talk about who got shot, who got killed, shake my head. Well, the hell with that. Come on for the good news. You keep asking what the solutions are, then why you in at the meeting? When hundreds of millions of dollars are there to fund what you said are the solution. Now, I didn't come to preach, but I can. But I'm just saying, sometimes it's frustrating because do you really want to win? Or do you really want to just say, I spoke on what ain't happening? Well, that ain't what's going on in our community now. Too many of our people are dying. And when I see other ethnic groups who somehow find the way to pass the hat, not when somebody died, not to get somebody out of jail, but on the front end to help save somebody. And I'm going to call you back to that too, because we're coming right back to that. Because the question now becomes what you are going to do. And so we hope that we can get involved in that civic education dollars that they want to spend. And we hope that our civic education project can be at the meeting and get funded to help promote some of you, right? I know you're too busy to show up, but if I get funded, I'm coming to help you to promote what you're doing because it's the right thing to do in Operation Unity. But when people say, because I get confused sometimes, exactly what are old leaders stopping you from doing? Because damn, I need you. If you're old breed or new breed, I need you. When you go down here to $500 million worth of community development funds and ain't enough black people in the room, then who's blocking you from being there? Didn't block me. Didn't block all the other 20, 30 leaders. It didn't block the other ethnic group leaders. So who in the hell blocking you? Tell me, talk to me. So we can get to some discussion. And at the end, we need to know what our own leaders blocking you right now. You've got billions of dollars being spent in majority black communities with majority white developers who don't hire majority black work crews. What old leader stopped you from organizing to shut them down? We still got over $100 million coming in our community-based banks. What the rest of the old leaders? Who's blocking current and new generation from being in the room? When you go down to City Hall and county government, billions of dollars are being voted on every day on everything that impacts our very lives. Who's blocking a current and new generation? So talk to me and tell me, what are old leaders blocking new leaders from doing? And then if you are who you say you are, then out-organize them then. And watch how far they come running. And that's the spirit I was brought up under. That's the spirit I learned from some of them. Because a lot of them that you call old heads, hell, at one point, they were young leaders. They were new breed. They had to go knock down some doors and bring their way into the room of respect. And we got to go back to that. So if you want to be respected, organize something then. If you don't just want some title saying I'm leading, then lead something then. And come back and show. And so I'm glad that we've got the spirit to do it. I'm glad with the help because I couldn't do it by myself. And I'm telling you right now, since I got back from cancer, I couldn't do it by myself. Everybody needs somebody. for these last several months, when I've been back in these funders meetings, trying to get back on my feet, to get restructured, focused, and positioned to be able to be an anchor and a strategic planner in the black community, I could not have done it without the help of Otis Monroe and the Monroe Foundation. They came for me. When people say, call me if you need me. Well, a lot of people ain't answered me yet. I'm going on my first year of trying to survive cancer. And I've had 3 setbacks. And some of the people who prayed for me and said, call me if you need me, ain't called me back yet. You understand me? My mother died 4 years ago. People said, call me if you need me. 4 years later, some of y'all ain't called me back yet. Oh, I didn't come to preach. I just came to talk. And that's my fact, that's name like a murder. I just came to talk. Listen, but that's what we're doing right here. When you're asking for God to intervene, and when you say, people of God, Jesus, take the wheel. Well, he gave it to you already. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, right? So in that meeting with J.P. Morgan Chase, hell of a meeting. And for once, because in the city of Chicago, right now, there's no place else to build but the South and the West Sides. But the damnedest thing I keep asking you, beloved, you look up and I read all these social media posts. If you're so serious, and if you can't show up, then who the hell do you want to show up then? When the $20 million being discussed down the street, who the hell gonna show up if you ain't there? And if you ain't planting no seed and somebody else to be there, then when $100 million come down from the private foundation, if you ain't there, then when the hell you want to be there? Right? If another $300 million is coming down from CAJ for low-income housing, if black people ain't at the table on the front end, then what the hell are you talking about shaking your head post when it's over? And you can't keep looking up. If you're going to lead, then lead something. Matter of fact, you know what? Lead this. I'm going to tell you this right now. Lead this. I told you one time, but I don't do my tissue. I'm going to tell you this right now. The new campaign is, for me, at National Black Wall Street, Chicago, is this. Tissue is the issue, right? That's the first thing we're campaigning on. And what do you mean, Mark? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. The black community right now, and we'll start with this. In the city of Chicago, and I say it over and over again, we spend over $50 billion into the Chicago economy. And we spend it in ways that make every other ethnic group rich and working except our own in the community that we live in. And I'm telling you, now you can take it or let it alone. I'm going to be reaching out and talking to you sisters. Because when I look up and I see Carolyn Ruff, I saw her tuning in, I'm telling you the beauty of what that sister did. For all you naysayers talking, oh, she didn't win. Well, you don't know what winning is. What I consider winning is a sister like Carolyn Ruff sat in the spirit of old school days, right? And when nobody else gave a damn, she gave a damn. And she stood out there boycotting, right? A disrespectful beauty supply store in the black community. But listen, a beauty supply store in the black community can't survive a damn day if it ain't for the dollars of black women. So come on, black women, fight for your daughters and your nieces and other sons. You can't keep spending billions of dollars making another ethnic group rich on 35th Street, on 47th Street, on 95th, on the South and West Sides. And then you look up on Monday saying who got shot, shaking your head. Talk to me, somebody. That's why we got to have strategic planning. So the good news is I was downtown with these other funders. Because here's what happened. For a sister like Carolyn Ruff to be raising all that hell, here's what happens. Not just in the street, but in the suites. When private and public funders start saying, if black people and black women were serious, who has the capacity to own and operate their own beauty supply store? That's why I give heads up and I give props to my guy. When I give my haircut, Vernon Spells down at Hair Experts, right in the same building as National Black Wall Street Chicago at 4653 South King Drive. You know, he made space. So when somebody else asks, because a lot of times I was down there in some of the protests, and we were sending people to 95th, 35th, other places. Well, the next time you come down 47th, and sisters be saying, if I can't spend my money here, where can I spend it? Glad you asked. Go down here to 46th and King Drive right down the street and buy the same hair, probably cheaper, but the money goes stay in the black community. Bank accounts in the black community, hiring people in the black community, then that's what you need to do. And we need to be doing it all over town. Like I mentioned, on the west side, on Kedzie and Lake, a major multi-million-dollar development. And I'm going to get them on this week or next week, but we're going to have them on. Because we're going to start lifting up on all of the streets, 35th, 79th, right? All over, 47th. What are people doing? Not just sitting your head post. Who's doing the work? And we're going to start lifting people up right here at UBM. Not on who died, but who's living. Not on how dark it is, but who shed light to say it's morning time. Come on. And I'm going to say this to you, that you're listening, and I want you to hear me, because I want you to start checking in. Everybody that's listening, even right now, you're listening on SoundCloud and Facebook. No, at the end of the day, we don't want to be, and I'm going to keep telling you over and over again. And I saw some people start watching. Well, stop watching then. Because I don't want to be the new version of Power. A reality show that don't mean nothing when the show is over if you're not planting some seed and some real power. You did told me off then. I don't want to be the reality show of Empire. And when the show is over, you can't invest in a real black empire in the community where you live. And yes, I said it. If you don't invite me back no more. Sometimes I get invited to speak and don't get invited back no more. Well, I'm going to tell it. Or let it alone. But a lot of the people who are complaining, we go to prayer vigils talking about God, step in. Jesus, take the wheel. The violence is taking place. And I'm telling you over and over again, and you take it, let it alone. Our Father God has stepped in. Son Jesus Christ has intervened. And he's given us, they have given us the power to go save and serve our own selves. If nobody else does nothing, I didn't come to preach, but I can. I'm just telling you. Because right now, in your hands, it only takes $3 billion spent to sustain up to 50,000 jobs. And in the black community right now, beloved, as I speak, I'm talking about heaven on earth. Right? You ain't got to tie to get this. You can walk some streets of gold on this side of town where you live now. And I'm saying to you, listen, we are collectively spending over $50 billion in the Chicago economy, and we're spending it in ways, right? Take it or let it alone. But you're spending it in ways that's making every other ethnic group rich except your own. And so I'm going to start calling the roll. Who's going to start it, right? Who's going to start it? Because when I say tissue is the issue, I'm telling you right now, if you want to put hundreds and thousands of our brothers and sisters to work, if you want to have hundreds and thousands of our people less saying, give me some spare change, right? I'm going to finish it, right? Then here's what you can do. And we going to lay it out, because I get it all right here. Tell you let it know. I'm veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, and you're right here. Where you at? You're at the Mark Allen Show. Hear my voice, and we'll be right back. Hear my voice some more on this UBM Radio Network.
The Chicago original is on its way back. It's the return of Leon's Barbecue.
I see you.
63rd and Harper in Chicago.
I see you, Colonel. I see you.
1940 brings its saucy soul
I
back.
mentioned you down. I mentioned you downtown.
Time for Thanksgiving. And the whole tasty menu is back. Ribs, hot legs, rib tips, wings, you name it, it's all back. If it's good enough for us, Denzel Washington, it's good enough to eat. Leon's Barbecue, returning November 22nd to 1528 East 63rd Street. Leon's Barbecue.
Some other names went back too fast. I'm going to catch up with you too. Thank y'all now.
Join the Metropolitan Apostolic Community Church and Reverend Dr. Leon Finney as we honor the 2017 Peace Planners at the Met Jubilee Peace Planter Awards. Hosted hosted by Sonia Blakey of Inspiration 1390 Radio and V103, with Grammy Award musical director Dr. Willetta Green Johnson, featuring Chicago's own multi-award artist, R&B songstress Teresa Bennett. Showtime is at 7 p.m. on Friday, November 17 at 41.
I see you, cuz. Thank you for tuning in. I see you, cuz. Jelani Bass. I see you. Thank you for tuning in, beloved. Thank you.
You don't want to miss this outstanding night of honoring those who have worked to plant peace in the city of Chicago. A Lifetime Achievement Award will be given to business mogul.
The first Culver's is coming to the South Side.
Capital Management.
Wait a minute, they open up.
Join us
Oh, wait a minute.
spectacular night of awards.
35th and King Drive is going to open up. Oh, man, Culver's. Oh, man, I like that Culver's butter burger.
Man, do I love car night.
Man.
You ready, boys?
There's going to be a brand new Culver's
Oh, come on.
in Bronzeville opening up in December.
Superstar titles on this. It only takes a moment to make a moment.
They're going to hire 70 to 75 people right here in Bronzeville, right on the Culver's. And a new black-owned and operated owner, black-owned Culver's coming to Bronzeville. I've been listening to that on the air.
This is Mario and
I'm going to mention that on the air. Black-owned and operated Culver's.
But I'm also a musical volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities.
All right.
But I've never met more
5 o'clock
vibrant,
today.
amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels.
5 o'clock
You can make
today.
a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
All of
This
this.
message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Active.
Hi, this is D. Curtis Randall.
Man, the new Culver's coming.
Okay, Curtis is on. November 4th.
He's on the call.
Remember to set your clocks back 1 hour
Oh,
before you go to bed.
Oh, I'm saying.
I listened to the commercial.
All right, sit like that. Girl, who?
Smoke detectors
All right.
and carbon monoxide
All right, order your lawn.
Just a reminder from your friends.
Can you turn down your speaker?
Listen to it right here.
From talk music and
Okay.
faith.
Tip it up.
No, that's okay.
It's so good.
All right, you
I can
UBM Radio.
Yes. Here I am. Look, the news is hot. I can tell you. Here's the beauty of having your own black-owned operating station. You cut anytime you feel like it. It ain't got to bother nobody. I'm just cracking jokes. I'm just happy. Listen, this veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, and we're here right now, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, so I'm calling every day, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m., right here on the UBM Radio Network. Now listen, friends, we want all of you to please join in. Go to our social media page and join UBM Radio. But more important than that, I want you, I see him, like I'm multitasking, I see, well, thank God I can see and see every day. I got you, I'm coming. But listen, because we're excited at all this growth going on. We went from no cameras to 2 cameras, 5 cameras, lights, sweating, it's all going on. But we can handle the growth because we're here under the elder leadership of Reverend Dr. Leanne Finney, and there's so much going on. But listen, I saw on the Newswire, Culver's Restaurant. It's always been in the suburb, but listen, coming at the end of December, Culver's is going to be on 35th and King Drive, hiring 70 to 75 people right here in the Bronzeville community, and we're going to talk about that and others. And I see Sister Carolyn Ruff, who I was speaking about, who's been leading the protest down in Misha at 642 East 47th Street. She'll be out there today I think at 5 o'clock. And I've been down there when I can. But I tell everybody, since I've been back from cancer, I've learned my lesson. I've relapsed 3 times. I'm going to safely get my way. After 3 strikes, and I'm trying to get to my December anniversary of being 1 year cancer-free. And before I got there, I relapsed 3 times. Trying to respond to everybody, trying to do everything, and I really just can't. But I support people. I'm here. Can't be everywhere, but I can stand here and teach and strategize and help people organize right here. And so one of the things we talked about, that I'm glad I've got a call on the line who can answer a lot of that is going on, because he was a part of it. And I say it over and over again. Since I've been back from cancer and trying to rebuild and restructure and reposition personally and National Black Wall Street Chicago, I could not have done it without one of those persons who has been there for me. Didn't just say, call me if you need me, but he's been right there. And a matter of fact, didn't have to call him. Sometimes he just says, this is what we need to do. But we got a few things going on. We talked about the Chase Bank meeting that we're participating in. He was a part of that and called it. And we're talking about this new narrative that we're raising money for to do on our own that's coming up. And so before we get out of here, let me bring him on right now to let him tell you what's going on. Is my good friend and anchor supporter, Otis Monroe, of the legendary Otis Monroe, the Otis Monroe of the Monroe Foundation. Otis, are you there?
I'm there. How you doing, brother?
I'm right here, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's get right to it. You were one of the people, as other people talked about, as people analyzed versus organizing, you were one of the people who reached out when Chase Bank set up when they had the press release that they're putting $40 million into the black community. A lot of people on social media talked about what was going to happen, what was not going to happen, but at least you were able to set the meeting. So give us your analysis of, one, we're glad you helped us bring to the table, but give us quickly your assessment of the meeting about how we help direct where the $40 million is going to be going on the south and west side for Chase Bank.
I get to that, but if you, I may beg your listening audience indulgence for a moment, but primarily I wanted to call in too, because one, the show is getting greater and greater in its information exchange. But most importantly, as I listen to you talk about our mutual advocacy with regard to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union 3.5 years ago, I'm watching on Facebook some of the responses that are very ill-informed.
Okay.
I wanted to back you up in supporting the record. For example, someone stated on Facebook that it was a deposit, not a donation. It was an investment as a result of our advocacy by black people who wanted to have an alternative to go to the credit union to obtain lines of credit to either start their businesses or expand their business. We got then gubernatorial candidate Bronner to make a $1 million investment in the credit union, with $200,000 being an unrestricted grant for them to do whatever they decide to do with it. Our mutual organization, National Black Wall Street Chicago and the Monroe Foundation, you may recall, spent many months trying to engage the credit union in a dialogue as to how those dollars will be promoted in the community. We went up against all kinds of opposition. We didn't ask for anything, except that what was morally right, put the money on the street to help black people. There was a sense of, we don't have to give an account for this money, we don't have to talk to you about giving an account for this money, and in fact, seemingly, we're not going to give an account for this money. So you are correct. And those that was in the room to ask the question and to put the question to now Governor Rauner, since we can't get answers from the credit union as to what became the impact of those dollars, then you tell us what was the impact of those dollars. Because you will recall when we made the ask and we quoted him and he committed to make the investment or deposit. Whatever folks want to call it, outside of our advocacy, support the name, $1 million to stick up in the Southside Community Federal Credit Union that came out of the advocacy to help black people, and we still don't know how black people have been helped. So call it a deposit, call it a grant, call it a donation. The point being, the money went to the institution to help black people, and we've yet to be able to point to how black people have benefited.
And I think even now, just say 3 years later, when I see creditors and everybody else, even as late the other day, when I see creditors who they help National Black Wall Street, even now, 3 years later, y'all don't need no money. You, Bob Israel, Otis Monroe, but spend the $1 million you got. I'm like, what million? And so, and now when you go to, and if I'm wrong, let's check it again today, because see, emotions are one thing, facts are others. Go to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union website, social media page, see if you can still find any linking that they got the money. Go back to a year, 3 years later. Go to their, and you're a board member, go to your own board member sheets. Has there ever been a recording that you got $200,000?
They even, before this advocacy of Ron came up, they didn't even want us on the board.
I'm sure I voted, they voted us down on that too. I forgot. I'm getting old now. Right. All of that happens. But again, it's a learning moment for all of us because we're going through this again. And that's why, friends, it's so important to talk about this because it's accountability. It's $1 million. It's $800,000 that was supposed in the last few years was supposed to go between $5,000 and $50,000 small business loans for black people to expand their business in the black community. And 3 years later, it ain't got to be about me. You know, if I did get the money, y'all kicking my butt now. Y'all asking me more questions than you're asking Greg Brown. You're asking me more questions than you're asking the governor.
I feel like the painful thing of it all is that we go after the majority of things about the lack of or not enough of community investment, then you got to do the same thing when you got black folks leading institutions. So we got to go after the white folks,
right,
who got the majority of things, then we get to go after our brothers and our sisters of a community that's owned by the people. That's owned by the people.
And remember now, I remember when a reporter called me, I didn't get a chance to call her back, talking about me and you and others in the Obama legacy. I remember when I was at Push, even as an organizer, man, I ran off copies. We got petitions. We did everything with former Senator Obama to help get the legislation passed, to get the credit union established. And I'm just saying, isn't it something that those of us on the ground, and that's what you're fighting about, ain't no ego thing, it's just right. Those who spent several years on the ground, one, helping to build the credit union, were founders of the credit union, now brought you in $200,000. Now here comes some board members and somebody else to say, Marvin Otis can't get nothing, shut him down. It's amazing. But listen, you know what? We can do two things. One, we're running out of time. Let's pick this, friends, we're going to pick this up tomorrow. Those of you on Facebook, we're going to pick this up tomorrow. Truth Squad. This is Mark Allen. It's always empowering. Remember to believe in God because God is love. Love is what the world needs right now. Remember in life, nothing's guaranteed but the end of it. We were born to die. But it's not that bad because in between birth and death, there's life. And it can be as positive as you want it to be, as long as you think positive. That means you keep a smile on your face and some warmth in your heart. And when a friend is down that they need you, let's reach out and touch them, okay? And remember to always think positive, no matter how negative a situation may develop in your life. Remember that you are God's child. Yes, indeed, you are somebody. You can do whatever you want to do, be whatever you want to be, with the power of your own mind. If your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, know within yourself you can achieve it. You got to believe in yourself first. Others will believe in you too. Till the next time, thank you for listening. Hear my voice, hear my voice, hear my voice. God bless you. All right, friends, listen, that's got hot. Well, we're going to pick this up tomorrow. Look, we got to go. Listen. Look, we're going to pick this up tomorrow. Thank y'all for tuning in. But listen, all of y'all, please go to the social media page and